How's it going?
What happened to you? You didn't show up over there.
Did you?
Yeah, it's all cleaned up.
Still may be over to you.
You find the transmission?
I did, in fact, up in Rockbury. So the transmission itself.
But the other one, we have to do that up above. What do we do the residential?
$1,800. Yeah.
Oh, what it is?
That's
In my spirit.
Really? You come to Red Leaf next week? You come to Red Leaf next week? We can get it pretty good.
No,
Good stuff.
no. At best, I can do a couple hours. That's at best. I've got 2 places out of town. 2-day trips I've been trying to get to the last couple of weeks.
I'm sorry. Meeting will come to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Ron Sutton. Dick Parker.
Here.
Melinda Arbogast.
Here.
Bob Burnett.
Here.
Debbie Tarian.
Here. And I do need to add one set of minutes. But first, I'm seeking approval of the April 13, 2015 board meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Yeah.
A motion by Lyle, or by Dick, is there support?
I'll support.
Lyle supported. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. We also had a special meeting minutes for the election commission, April 13, 2015. I'm seeking approval of those minutes.
I'll make it.
Motion by Dick,
I'll support that also.
support by Lyle. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Perfection of the agenda. Does the board have anything to add?
Is this anybody? Or not?
Yes,
It's on there?
yes, that's 150. Resolution? Yes.
Holy.
Yep. Anything else? Hearing no additions to the agenda, motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Debbie, support by Don. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. And then you have reports that are on file. Agenda items, which starts with me and starts with the supervisor's request that was sent out to attorneys. We got those RFPs back, and I see 3 attorneys here. I see Susan Franklin from Williamson Hughes. I see Mark Nettleton from Micah Myers, Beckett and Joan. And I see Rodney Shermer from Skolton Font, or
Golden Pan.
Skolton Fan, thank you. The board received all the proposals. I think the proposals were very thorough. So this is just an informal chance for the board who has any questions with the attorneys, all or one or however they care to do it, and just some more information so that we can take this back, the decision being made at our June meeting. So this is just giving everybody a little bit more time. So I will open the floor to the board if you have, is there any questions you guys have in particular for any of the 3 representatives that are here? Okay?
That was an awful lot to go through, let me tell you.
That was my fault. I think I asked for all of it.
But you know what, it was really good, it was very informative, everybody did a great job of putting all their stuff together, actually. It was, I was just trying to, look at each of the proposals to see what the prices were, and the prices had different things in them. Do you know what I mean? It was a little bit, we had to be sure of what each of them were. Because like with, Micah Myers, they don't charge for secretarial things and that
Correct.
kind of stuff, where other people do. But then also on Micah Myers, it said, that the hourly rate really varies because you have all the different hourly rates. And some of them are a lot more than at some of the other firms. And it said that it was rounded to like $2.80 an hour because of all the different people that had something to do with it. Is that correct?
So, Deb, thanks for the question. Appreciate being back here. It's nice to see you all. Mark Middleton with Michael Myers. The hourly rate for work that I'm doing with the township now is at $2.80, and so that's the rate that I did quote and use, and that would be the rate for me, for my services for the township, based on my experience. I am fortunate to be at a firm with a very deep bench, if you will, with attorneys with a great deal of experience in township matters and local government matters. And so based on that experience, we have the various ranges of rates based on their practical experience, and so that's what I provided. Certainly, when it's in my wheelhouse, if you will, to answer that question that the township poses to me, I'll take care of that. If it's something, say there is an environmental issue, environmental laws are very complex. That's not within my wheelhouse, so I'm gonna consult with one of my law partners, and either that partner is going to work with the township directly, or I'll get back in touch with them. So, but that attorney, depending on their experience, would have a rate in the ranges that I mentioned in the proposal.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna ask each of you a question that I have, and that is, like, of course, with Susan Franklin with Hughes, Williams and Hughes, you are close to us. So actually, for driving, it wouldn't cost as much for you to come to a meeting. But I wanted to ask both the other firms, because Skolton and Fant is from Grand Haven, how much you would charge for like coming to a meeting.
Good evening, it's Rodney Shermer, Golden Fan, to try and address your question. That would be something that we could address. I know for the municipalities I represent, I charge half-time for travel.
Okay.
That's not always the case with all the other attorneys that may be on there. We would note that, as it said in the proposal, if we go to meetings that are called and we can make some arrangements for that, that can be at a flat fee. And that, you could have us here from 6:30 to midnight at one fee, and the travel time is included with that.
Okay, okay, very good, okay.
Deb, in response, I mean, standard procedure is basically, it's from the time, including travel time, to the time that I'm here on an hourly basis. But I do make arrangements with my clients, what works for them, and I'm open to do that for the township.
Okay. What about Susan? Yep, yep.
We typically charge per hour rate for the travel and being here, but as the other attorneys stated, we can make alternate arrangements as necessary.
Okay. Now, is that something that we do while we have you as attorneys, or is this something that we do beforehand, make the arrangements? Go ahead.
Well, the way I would suggest it is that as part of this proposal process, that either you enter into a contract with us or one of these other two firms, and we get those things put in writing ahead of time.
Okay, very good. That's the same way with
Yes.
both of you?
Yes.
Okay, so it has to do with the proposal that we end up making up in the end?
That's correct.
Okay, all right, thank
We,
you.
we typically do what's referred to as an engagement letter, which would set forth the billing expectations and, you know, the relationship. I think I have one with you guys as it is.
Okay, all right, very good. That's all
Is
my
that all you had?
questions.
Okay, yeah, very good. Lyle, do you have any? And who in particular you would like to address it to? Or all?
I've had a problem with the conflict of interest in the township a number of different times. Two gentlemen in the back, what is your position on deciding what's a conflict of interest and what do you do about it?
Well, for us, a conflict of interest is determined by our professional rules of ethics. And if we believe there is a potential for a conflict of interest, we certainly would advise you, we'd advise the other party, and if there is a conflict, or if it cannot be consented to work out between the parties, our clients, then we would back out from either one of those and hopefully help you get a referral to another firm.
Well, it's, you know, we are governed by rules of ethics. I mean, I'm sure sometimes it may seem the attorney profession doesn't have ethics, but something that I know I hold dear at our firm. One of my law partners is our go-to guy with respect to conflict issues. So I analyze the issue, and that's not at the township's cost. That's my cost as a professional to make sure that I'm adhering to the rules of professional ethics. And then I also consult with him, and then our rules of ethics basically say if it's not a waivable conflict, then we do have to step out, we wouldn't be able to represent either party.
That was your, okay?
Well, I'm glad Lyle brought that up, because I got it right here, State Bar of Michigan Rules of Professional Conduct. And this, I've had a problem with this too, and that's why I suggested that we go get us another lawyer. Rule 1.7, conflict of interest, general rule. A lawyer shall not represent a client if the representation of that client will be directly adverse to another client. And that's what's happened to us. I only know about one.
But this is,
Lyle's been here a while.
this is question
I understand.
form, so,
That's what I'm gonna ask him.
okay. I think they answered that.
No, they didn't.
Okay,
Now, well,
I think,
Mr. Shermer.
Yeah.
I think Mark answered it right at the end of his. He said that they wouldn't represent either client. So what I'm after is, if there is a conflict of interest, because there's representation of two clients, are you going to go with one client or the other and represent against us if it ends up that way possible?
I think I stated that near the end of
Oh, I
my
didn't hear you.
first thing. We're not in a position to represent either client at
Okay.
that time.
That's what I want to know.
We'd certainly try and help either client find another attorney as promptly as possible with a referral, but,
But are you going to represent somebody else against us?
no,
Okay,
no.
that's the only question I got.
okay. Don?
No, I'm with you. I know what that was.
Okay. Well then, in this case, just so that they each can, if there's something they wanna highlight or that they think we missed, I'm gonna have each attorney, and I'll start with Susan Franklin. Is there anything that you feel that, you would still like to address outside of what we asked for in the proposals or anything, just?
Well, I would like to state that Williams Hughes has very much been honored to represent Blue Lake Township in the past, and we've represented Blue Lake Township for a considerable amount of time. I understand that there is a question regarding a conflict of interest, and I assume this is regarding the White Lake Ambulance Authority, and if I
That's one of them.
Okay. I'm happy to answer any questions regarding that. There was an issue with my office that a mistake was made and something was sent out that was not supposed to, and I would be happy to explain that further. At the White Lake Ambulance Board, I had been directed in response to a question to provide some further information, as the vice chair, Ms. Arbogast, had requested it. I attempted to provide that information as I previously prepared that. I did not work on that any further. I previously prepared that for the director, and I provided that information to the vice chair of the ambulance authority. Unfortunately, there was an internal mistake in our office that sent that out as a Blue Lake Township matter instead. I do agree that if there is any conflict between the White Lake Ambulance Authority and Blue Lake Township, that our office cannot represent either party. That at that point, for that conflict, we would have to refer that out to separate attorneys for both sides. And I'd be happy to answer any further questions if there are any. But Williams Hughes does very much value this relationship with Blue Lake Township, and we hope to continue it.
Thank you. Mark?
It's been a privilege to work for the township for just a little bit. I enjoyed meeting you. I'm happy and proud of my firm and my personal representation of my clients. I've been practicing for 20 years. Our firm's been in existence for many more years than that. And we have long-standing relationships with our clients and providing timely, comprehensive, practical legal services for our clients. We have a broad range, wide-ranging practice across the state. We represent many of several neighboring communities in Muskegon County and have a close personal relationship with those clients. And it would be an honor and a privilege to be able to work with you guys further. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Ron?
One thing I'd like to make an addition to the proposal that we sent when there was the question about having any lawsuits against any other municipal entity in Muskegon County. Ron Bolche, my partner who submitted that, inadvertently left out probably one of the more recent cases, and I was involved in that. It was against the city of Muskegon, and it involved the initiative to rezone that sappy paper mill property. We did represent the excavator owner of that property against the city of Muskegon with regard to that particular election. And then just to follow up, I trust you can see from our proposal, we have a wide-ranging practice with a number of municipalities and public bodies throughout the state. And we, like Mark says, we also, our firm also does provide full service in a number of areas, and we would be privileged and happy to serve your township.
Thank you.
Can I make one more comment?
Sure.
I particularly like both of your proposals in that you listed the attorneys that would be working with us, and we could contact each one. I really appreciate that being in the proposal, which ones we can work with and will be working with.
Yep, that was part of the request, so I hope
Oh, was it?
they,
Yeah, everybody.
yep. So I would hope they did, but,
Again, maybe just to follow up on that comment, I think as it's stated in our proposal, our firm likes to have one lead attorney for a municipality so that everything runs through that attorney. If you have a real estate acquisition matter, that can then, he will then direct it to the firm, the attorney in the firm who might handle that, or a tax tribunal matter, or a bankruptcy that's involving some water, sewer, tax delinquent resident. But the names listed there are the ones that will generally be available to the township.
okay, thank you.
I got one.
Okay.
It's really gonna be hard here because you only picked really good law firms, you didn't.
I picked ones
You
highly
did
recommended, so.
did a good job here, so the two that I'm considering, just really good law firms.
Okay. Well, that's the thing, this is, like I said, informal, let the board if they had any questions that I certainly wouldn't have been able to answer. We will take all that under advisement, get to study this more, and at our June meeting, that will be when we determine. So I thank you all for coming. You're welcome to stay. I'm not gonna make you stay. So, board members, you can go back to studying because in another month, we're gonna do.
Just one more question. I just wanna make sure that I am correct in this, but, on Mark's proposal, it lists legal assistance, the others are paralegals, is that the same thing? Okay, I just wanted to be sure, I thought it was, but I just wanted to not have any question about it. Thank you.
Bless you. All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is the 150th anniversary celebration, which we all have been watching Lyle and Bill Hanson work diligently on. And so we went forward with knowing we needed to put some money towards it to help with this celebration. So this is a resolution, 150th anniversary sesquicentennial celebration, resolution 051115-01. Whereas Blue Lake Township has been in existence for 150 years since March 1865, with the first meeting being held April 3rd, 1865. Whereas Blue Lake Township Board wishes to celebrate this anniversary with the residents of Blue Lake Township, the camps within the township, the surrounding townships, villages, cities, the county, and state representatives and all interested parties. Whereas the 150th anniversary celebration will advance a historical interest in the township. Now therefore, upon a motion of blank and supported by blank, be it resolved that the Blue Lake Township Board does hereby commit an amount not to exceed $1,500 for the sesquicentennial celebration for Blue Lake Township that advances the historical interest of the township. And it has places for signatures. So this is the resolution. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I hear a motion by Debbie,
I'll support.
and we had support by Don. Supported by Don. Roll call, please.
Debbie,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Melanie.
Aye. Motion carried with 5 yeas, no nays. And then that is up to Dick to finish out. And it, okay, and in order to have this in the budget, we need to amend the budget by adding a line to be titled Sesquicentennial Celebration. And the number is 101-101-726.001 in the amount of $1,500. Do I hear a motion for that amendment?
Yeah, I'll make
I have a motion by Dick, is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Lyle, do I hear roll call?
Dick,
it. Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Melanie,
Aye,
Don.
Yes.
motion carried. The next item was a conflict we had during the 2016, fiscal year 2016 budget. That a question was raised by Fred about not having the proposed or projected amounts written on the budget. So I called, actually Dick and I met Wednesday, we went over the law, looked at it, said it should be in there, called the state, Kerry Vaughn left a message, he didn't get back to me right away, and then I called Pontum. So to answer your question, Fred, the Pontum is working to correct that in the program. Called the state back, still didn't hear from him, called him back one more time, did get a hold of him. He said it's simply a matter of amending the budget to include those figures in there. So I have the figures that Dick gave us, at that verbally he gave us, but were not written in here. They are going to be included in this budget with the projected fund balance of that date, change in fund balance, and then projected fund balance, whether it's a plus or minus. So I just need approval to include the projected fund balances on this budget. So I'm seeking a motion for the fiscal year 2016 budget to include those figures.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a Motion by Debbie,
I'll support.
support by Lyle. Roll call, please.
Debbie,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Melanie,
Aye.
Dick,
Yep.
Don.
Yes.
And then this will be scanned in and put on the website with the totals on it. Oh, the next one. White Lake Ambulance Authority, has progressed not well. The budget did not pass, which was not surprising. In order to balance the budget, there was large amounts owed by townships, included in there. That still, I'm hoping, I have sent out, a couple emails to Jeff asking him to hold a special meeting for the board to work on the budget. I have not heard of that yet. He had proposed this Wednesday, and then I never heard anymore, so. As soon as I know, I'll let the board know. The other thing is the budget amendments for the fiscal year 2015 did pass the board with a 4-3 vote. And in that, part of the proposed balancing of the budget said local units would be having to pay $164,000. So that then broke down to the Township of Blue Lake owing $22,960. And for some reason, in their discussion included the fact that the municipalities that had already paid some weren't going to be paying as much, so I don't know if they were subtracting it out or what they were doing. I did not vote for it, it did still pass. I expect we'll be getting a bill, and I expect our bill will be going in the same direction that the other bill goes until we find actual answers. Because then you're talking 10,000, 22,000, and the 26,000 that they were proposing for the new fiscal year. The idea of $350,000 total being owed, I'm not sure what the total, I just don't know. So it is not very pretty. I'm hoping they do go back and work on this budget. I hope we do get it together, because if nothing else, we better be able to say we all looked at it as a board, and that has not happened yet. After we had the public hearing and we had the responses from the municipalities, then the ambulance board has to sit down as a whole, and we haven't done it yet. So that's not so good yet,
It's not.
just so you know.
Did I make a comment there?
On the ambulance, no, thank you. I don't think
I'll
it'd
be quiet,
I
I'll
don't
do
think
it
it would be-
nicely.
Well, you
All
do
I'm
it
gonna
nicely.
say is people should read the editorial in the Beacon.
Okay,
It's a pretty good,
I haven't read it yet, so,
I
I'll have
did,
to read it.
pretty good editorial.
all right. Well, moving on, because that is something
See
we're
how
still
quiet
working
I
on.
was?
Yes, you were, I'm proud of you. All right,
Yeah.
the next thing on the
Can I add something to that?
which
If
one?
anybody would like to go to their meetings, it's the last Tuesday,
Last Wednesday.
last
4 o'clock.
Wednesday of the month at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, depressing, whatever you wanna call it, but at least you get that information firsthand. I've gone to the last 2 meetings, and it's been very informational to me because I wanna know exactly what's going on, so. And it's hard.
Because I get too mad.
Okay, thank you. Browns Pond Dam, Browns Pond Dam, Don, thank you. The Browns Pond Dam inspection was done Friday. He didn't see a lot more different than was at the last one in 2011. He's aware of the fact that the Browns Pond Dam is going towards the county took up the special assessment. It will be the DPW handling it. We don't know exactly how that's gonna pan out. They're getting their engineering proposals now, and we'll know about that. But anyway, the inspection was done. We'll get a report in probably a month and a half, which then I'll forward on to all you guys, and you'll be able to read it. These are color pictures, so.
We'll get the black and white.
No, you'll get color, because I'll just forward it. All right. Next is our fire chief, Larry, who is retiring effective May 31st, 2015, which is the end of this month. So, to Larry, I would like to say thank you for your service and your dedication. I'm hoping you actually enjoy your retirement and don't just find a different job.
Well, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to find a different
I know,
job for a
but
while.
you just don't know, so I really do hope, but I would say thank you for that. We do need to move to, the acting chief, would be move the deputy chief up, Joseph Knope, into the position of the acting chief. I did tell him that it would be probably 3 months that we will be on this, working out, what we're gonna do as far as replacement, so that was just to give him a heads up. I do need a motion to move Joe Knope into acting chief position.
I'll make
I have a motion by Dick, do I have support? I have support by Don, roll call please.
Dick,
Yes.
Don,
Can we have a discussion?
Sure, sorry, discussion?
Sorry, I just need to have a few things. Okay, does it have to be deputy chief that takes that position? Is that
It does
an
not,
SOG or?
but, no, but it does, truthfully, I've got to look back on the SOGs, but it does not. But our thing is, as deputy chief, he's willing to delegate some things out because of his work schedule. So that's part of it. It's definitely a temporary basis.
Okay,
And,
just-
but no, I mean,
I
but no,
just wanna know if this is something that just by chain of command, that's exactly what
I'm
happens.
not sure that we've ever, I'm not sure even in the SOGs that's suggestions, so even if there was a difference, regarding that.
Can I ask?
Can you ask what?
Can I ask the chief if he knows?
Sure.
I believe that is in our SOGs, yes.
That's a chain of command.
That's what I was wondering, okay.
Right, but the board could step outside of that if they wanted to.
Okay.
So, sorry.
Okay, sorry, I just.
Roll call,
I
no,
needed to
that
be
you were
sure.
right, we should have asked for discussion. And that's something we'll be looking at when we look to fill it to Debbie. So how, because we can step outside of that if that is
Okay,
not the way we necessarily.
we can make amendments to the SOGs.
Well, yes, but we can also, they're guidelines. They are not the law. We have to follow the ordinance 24, so that's what we have to stick with.
Okay, all right.
Okay, sorry. Motion by Dick, support by Don, roll call.
Dick,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Melanie.
Aye. Motion carried. And that moves us to the treasurer, information regarding washing machine for fire department, and she has a few people that are going to help her with the information that she needs.
Right,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, kind of bear with me here. I wrote up a proposal and I have all kinds of information. Does
Yes.
everybody have that in front of them right now?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the page that says board meeting 5/11 regarding the washing machine for the fire department. It was brought to my attention a month ago that the fire department needed a washing machine. And that is when my husband and I started to research fire department washing machines. Okay, so a lot of questions came to mind. Number one, how do our firefighters wash their gear? So I asked a few of them. I got one response that said, I never have. While two others say they wash it at home. And another told me that after fighting a fire, the soot went through their turnout gear and also through their street clothes and their legs were black. Now that doesn't sound very good. So I went to the neighboring fire stations. I called and talked to the fire chiefs. I called White Lake Fire Department, and they have a commercial grade washing machine, which is a Continental, at their fire station number 2 on Duck Lake Road. Chief Holman told me it takes 45 minutes to wash the turnout gear and 14 to 18 hours to dry. And I've learned that the drying process, you have to use the temperature, you can't use a high temperature on the turnout gear because it will make them, the fire retardant on them will break down then. So, and if I'm saying this wrong, let me know, okay?
Good.
Okay. And they also, Chief Holman told me that the Blue Lake Fire Department may use this machine and all they have to do is call in advance. The downside to this is that if White Lake Fire Department responds to the same fire, the machine will be used by them first. Another thing that we have to keep in mind is that each of our fire department only have one set of turnout gear. Okay, so, and you don't wanna wash them all at the same time because you're gonna wanna have to have some available. And I was told that they have a couple sets of turnout gear extra right now that they could put to use. The other question was whether or not, the White Lake Fire Department received their washing machine on a grant. The grant, I was, somehow told that it included Blue Lake Fire Department, but when I asked the chief, he said no, that it didn't. That this was just something they wanted the other people in other fire departments in the area to be able to use it. Number one, they don't use it that much and they think that it should be used more often. That's better for the washing machine to be used more often. Okay, the Dalton Fire Department does not have a washing machine. And they usually go to the Eggleston Fire Department and use theirs. Eggleston will actually wash and dry the gear and then let Dalton know when it's done. So they have a really good thing going there. They've also, they can use White Lakes. They've been told that they can use White Lakes, but if they go on the same fire, it can be a problem of use. So they use Eggleston most often. Matter of fact, I don't think they use White Lakes at all from the way he talked. The Holt Fire Department has a residential LG front-end loader that they use at their fire department. If the gear is contaminated with, like bodily fluid or something like that, then they send it to the dry cleaners. Okay, now my husband also went to other fire stations in Muskegon County and Ottawa County. And I want him to just tell what he found out from those fire stations real quick.
You want me there?
You can be right there, that's fine.
Yeah, please.
Oh, okay, never mind. Go up there.
It'll record it. It'll record it. We
Okay.
have to,
Okay.
we have questions later.
You need my name and everything?
No.
Okay. This was brought to the Blue Lake Firefighters Association, and didn't know anything about the wash machine. The more we looked into it, the more it was like, why don't we have one? I talked to I went to 6 different fire departments. 2 of them I couldn't get a response. Holland sends their equipment out. They don't do their own equipment. North Muskegon, Norton Shores, and Muskegon all have their own wash machines and drying racks. The Muskegon Fire Department says if they get into a situation where they have hazardous materials, they decontaminate on the site. They don't come back to the fire station with turnout gear that's contaminated. Norton Shores was shocked that we don't wash our gear. He says they do theirs a minimum of twice a year. They do it after every fire and after every medical where there's body fluids involved. The Muskegon, Norton Shores, and North Muskegon all use the Unimac type wash machines, which is a commercial grade. The people I've talked to said you never take your gear home and wash it in your own wash machine. That's just a big no-no. And with our guys, with our firefighters, not only do they sometimes take it home, but they're putting it in their bags, they're putting it in their vehicles. So they're spreading contamination not only to their vehicles, but to their families as well, so. The association would love to do this, but unfortunately, our fundraising potential isn't that great. And it would take us quite a while to come up with that kind of money. So we think it would be a wonderful thing if the board would approve this and go forward with it. Any questions?
Victor?
You mean approve LG?
Well,
Anything.
we're gonna go to that in a
Yeah,
few minutes.
Debbie's not that far yet.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay, the next question we had are, what are the guidelines for cleaning the turnout gear? We got a copy of the 2014 NFPA 1851 that reads that the firefighters are responsible for routine cleaning of their issued gear. Cleaning the garments shall be accomplished using advanced cleaning procedures. Ensemble and ensemble elements that are soiled shall receive advanced cleaning prior to reuse. The training of the organization's personnel shall be informed by the element manufacturer or a verified ISP who will provide written documentation of their training. The following procedures shall be used for the machine washing. The machine shall not be overloaded. Heavily soiled or spotted areas shall be pre-treated. Chlorine bleach, chlorinated solvents, active ingredient cleaning agents or solvents shall not be used without the ensemble element manufacturer's approval. Water temperature shall not exceed 105 degrees. A mild detergent with a pH range of not less than 6 pH and not greater than 10.5 pH as indicated on the product MSDS original product container shall be used. I found out that Citrus Squeeze is what they use at almost every fire department that has this. I'll tell you, I've learned so much about this. Washing machines with the capability of drum RPM adjustment shall be adjusted so the G-force does not exceed 100 G for all elements. And that's how fast it spins out, because you don't want it to spin too fast because it can wreck the turnout gear. But yet you want it to spin out enough so that it'll dry fast enough so that they can wear it again. And I also found a equation on how you find out what the G-force is. So I've got this down here now. Machine manufacturer instructions shall be followed for the proper setting or program selection for the specific element being washed. Where the machine is also used to wash items other than protective ensemble elements, it shall be rinsed out by running the machine without a laundry load through a complete cycle with detergent and filled to the maximum level with water at a temperature of 120 to 125 degrees. Drying by air and not in direct sunlight. Okay, so that told us a whole lot about why we shouldn't be washing these clothes in the home. Because I am sure that when they're washed in the home, all these different items are not being adhered to. Also, I found out that, and if you look at this page here, it's right after what I wrote. It says NFPA 1851. It says soiled or contaminated elements, which I'm assuming is the gear, shall not be brought into the home, washed in home laundries or washed in public laundries unless the public laundry has a dedicated business to handle protective ensembles and ensemble elements. I think that's very important to know that this is the way it should be done. Okay. We are a small volunteer fire department. Do we need a commercial washer with its big price tag? A commercial washer can cost from $5,500 to over $9,000. And I have four quotes. One is for a Dexter machine, and this says Garrett's on it. It gives 4 different proposals. One was for a Dexter at $5,540. Another was for a Unimac for $8,436. Another was for the Continental, $7,800. That's a fixed, a hard mount. Hard mount means that what you have is something that it's bolted down to so that it doesn't move around. A soft mount, which we got one quote for, was for $9,200. And this is not installation, this is just for the machine and having it delivered. So, this was something else that I had to go by. Blue Lake has tried for a grant, but has been unsuccessful. If I say anything wrong, let me know, you guys, okay? We can get a top-of-the-line LG Mega Capacity Washer for $1,439. After reading about other fire departments around the country, I have found that the LG has worked great. And if you look at the paper that I gave you that talks about turnout gear washing questions, I went to this blog and actually there was a fire department that was a small volunteer fire department with 34 members, covering an area of 450 plus square miles with a typical year run of 35 or so calls, sometimes as few as 10, which if I'm not mistaken is very comparable to what Blue Lake Township does, because Larry gave me some figures on calls too from the last couple of years, and I don't even think it was this many. Am I right in saying that, Larry?
The number of times that we would require our gear to be washed is comparable.
Okay, thank you. Okay, okay, so in going through this blog, it tells all the different things that they talked about, the different kinds of machines that different fire departments use, how to use the citrus squeeze. One had a comment in here where somebody said that they were washing their gear at home, and somebody said, say what? Your department lets you wash your gear at home? That is so wrong on so many levels. Just curious, ever heard of OSHA or EPA? So, you know, these things just brought up big red flags for us, and we want our fire department to be safe. Is it, well, I already said number 5, is it bad for firefighters to wash their gear at home? Definitely. They're exposing their family to who knows what. So I asked one of the firefighters, okay, when they get soot on their clothing, what is in that soot? What is, you know, how are we making them unsafe? And I didn't write it in my thing, but I got this. When they're carbon molecules, also known as soot. As we expose these carbons, are exposed to these carbons, they attach to the fire gear. They are very toxic to us and our families or anyone else we may be standing near. While they stay on our gear, clothes, and skin, they absorb into our system by inhalation and absorption. They continually give off gases that are known to be at the top of the list as the deadliest carcinogens. As we have long-term exposure throughout our career, we have become one of the highest risks for cancer. These toxic carcinogens have formed new cancers never heard of. As we wear our gear covered in soot over and over, they continue to build heavier and heavier layers. We carry our gear in our cars, so we are always ready to respond from where we are. We, our families, are being exposed in our vehicles continually. Another danger we face as these carbons build on our gear, the gear itself becomes unsafe in fires because they make our gear more flammable. I think that the safety for our firefighters should be number 1. My husband has gone to other fire stations, which he said, and talked to them about their washing machines. We were both appalled that Blue Lake Township does not have any rules when it comes to washing their gear. The smoke and other gases from the fires they fight can cause cancer, and we do not want this gear to be washed at home. My hope is to make mandatory to wash their gear after every fire they fight and not carry dirty gear in their vehicles. I would like to make it more accessible for them to be able to wash their gear at the fire station in Blue Lake. Our firefighters do not make much money, so the least we can do is try to make them and their families safe from the possible carcinogens on their turnout gear. Does the fire department have anything to add? Jeff? Have I put everything into perspective, or is there anything you want?
Yep, and you also have a mandatory requirement to wash your gear at least at a minimum once a year, and depending on.
How many fires you have?
So at a minimum, you gotta wash at least once a year.
It's not just structural, it's also wild.
That's where I can get it.
Right. Okay. Steve, you got anything to add, or am I going okay?
You're doing fine.
Okay.
If anyone, wants to look into the chemistry or the science of it, it's a whole alphabet soup of different, carcinogenics that attach themselves to, the carbon molecules and we're exposed to.
A short list is benzene, formaldehydes, hydrogen cyanide, hydrogen sulfide, PCBs, polyurethanes,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, well, again, we think that it's most important to keep our firefighters safe. Therefore, I would like to make a motion to amend the fire equipment budget for not more than $2,000. I have, if you look at the last page, it shows the washing machine that I was looking at,
Mhm.
the LG, it has different speeds for the extraction of the water, so we can make that available. It also has a thermostat on it that will make it adjustable to the temperature that we need.
Okay, does this dollar amount you're talking about, does that include, whatever setup, delivery setup, whatever it needs to?
I actually got a little bit lower price than, and I'm gonna go to the different retailers and see what kind of a price we can get on that. It includes them bringing it, I don't know. I am hoping that this is something that we can connect up.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking for not more than 2,000, because that would give us at least $500 to get everything set up, to get it going.
Would our tax exempt status also apply to this?
Yes, it does. I already found that out.
Okay, so you're seeking
So-
for $2,000 to,
Okay, my motion is to amend the fire equipment budget for not more than $2,000 and to be able to purchase an LG front loader washing machine to be placed at fire station number 1. It will also be mandatory that all firefighters keep their gear clean at all times. And I have a copy of it here
that's
for
a
you,
motion
Laura.
that Debbie made. Do you, we need a second, then what is
I've
it?
got it.
I have a motion on the floor by Debbie, and we have a second by Lyle, now discussion.
Okay, you can't amend the budget for not more than, you amend the budget for 2,000.
Your budget would be
Well, we
amended
did that
for-
before for
Not to exceed
Right,
15,
not to
15.
No, that was the cost of it,
Right,
we didn't amend the budget for that. You're-
No, we
you're gonna
amended
amend
it for
budget,
the
you gotta say
15.
not more than, I
Yeah.
can put
so
a-
you
I can put
amend it.
$1,500 down,
Right.
that's not more than.
Wait, hang on just a second. So we need, so you're
So amend the
proposing
budget.
that
So
you,
you wanna
2,000.
change the motion?
Okay, well, I got another thing about the money, but we have to have a set amount to amend the budget.
okay, so we remove the not more than. I would ask Debbie
Just
to
for
amend your motion
$2,000.
Right.
to say, to remove the not more
Okay.
than.
Okay.
And Lyle, do you support her? He supports that, so now that it says, no longer says
Okay.
that.
Now, my next thing is,
Mhm.
I don't know that we should be saying the cost shouldn't be more than 2,000, because,
Well, that's what we
Yeah.
took out.
you understand, but you got 1439 on the, one thing, and it says 1,600 on the other.
Right.
But, if it, I don't know where you got the 1,400, but
I
if
got,
it costs more than the extra, the $561, whatever,
mhm,
to install it, then we're stuck with our $2,000 budget,
mhm,
see what I'm saying?
mhm.
So, we can amend the budget for 2,000, I guess, and, leave it at that, but don't say the cost of all that, plus the, including the installation, can't be more than 2.
Okay,
It only
We
says to
know-
purchase though.
What?
It only says to purchase the
Yes.
LG. It's only the purchase of the machine.
Oh, I missed that. I thought that
Okay.
was supposed to
No.
include.
No, it just
The
is the
installation.
purchase. Right, I just
Okay,
asked that,
all
that
right,
was what I,
Okay.
so,
but it's for the purchase of it, but it,
right.
but
So
if
we
it
cover
costs more to install it,
We'll amend the budget for that if we have to.
okay, that's what I need to know.
But this is only to purchase it, we're just talking about the purchase right now, okay. So,
I didn't read.
I'll read it back,
I
just,
stopped
just
at
in
2,000.
case. It says,
I'm gonna copy.
Debbie made a motion to amend the fire, oh, she already did it, the fire equipment budget for $2,000 to be able to purchase an LG front loader washing machine to be placed at fire station number 1. It will also be mandatory that all firefighters keep their gear clean at all times. That was Debbie's motion, was Lyle
Is that-
supported with that change?
Could that actually be 2 motions?
Two, what, what,
It will
or
also be
make it
mandatory that all
mandatory?
firefighters keep their gear clean?
Actually, it could be in the same. It can be in the same motion. I mean, it doesn't make it any more legal if it's in one or two.
No, I know.
Okay. All right, Debbie and Lyle. Roll call?
Debbie?
I wanna
Oh,
ask,
what,
Jim, you mentioned a rack for drying.
Yes,
Is that something you purchase, or is that
you
something?
can
that's built?
purchase it, you can probably make one, looking at them, they don't look like they're that difficult. They're about $4,000 or $5,000 to purchase.
White
They're
Lake,
pretty simple to make.
White
Yeah.
Lake actually made their own.
Michelle? Sorry.
White Lake made their own, so it is something that you can make, or you can just hang them and blow, put a fan on them. So there's two different ways you can do it.
Any of that's very expensive. Okay, now we have motion on the floor. Roll call, please.
Debbie,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Melanie,
Aye.
Dick.
Yeah,
Motion carried.
you know, I'd like to commend Debbie and her husband for all the work
Oh,
they did.
I would
That's-
too.
That's an awful lot of work.
Yeah.
It's amazing how eye-opening it is
Fire
to go
departments.
through all this and see what's going on and make sure, we wanna make sure that our firefighters are safe. It's number one.
Mr. Clerk? Mr. Clerk, vendor approval. What'd you do with your vendor? No. Your vendors?
Okay, got three vendors here to approve, professional emergency services training. And that's for training for the fire department. Muskegon Area Fire Chiefs Association, they've been buying foam from there. And Jim Durham, he did some radio repairs for the fire department.
So do I hear a motion to approve those vendors?
So moved.
And a motion by Debbie. Support by
I'll support.
Lyle. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Larry?
Okay, you've had a copy of the, let's say the second, third of the three parts of the SOG revision. And these have been gone over by the attorney. The changes that were suggested by the attorney have been made in each of these. And I'm asking for your approval.
There's
on
two
the section.
parts.
Um,
Page 15, which is paragraph 2. And
okay,
then
yes.
Page
Yes.
16, which is paragraph 7, A, B, and C. So we would take them, look at them in each part. Looking at paragraph 2, which has to do with firefighter 1 and 2 certification. And so that the township is not out money for people that do not finish their schooling.
No, they finished
No,
their
they finish their schooling,
don't
but they don't
here.
stay. Okay, yep. Prior to a year, staying a
Correct.
year. That was the first part. And the second part is, for MFR, that they do not respond until they're enrolled in medical first responder, and then what they can do once they have enrolled. And then what happens when they receive their medical.
Well, then
Or
there
medical
is-
license.
yes, that's included in there too.
So those two, why did you propose those changes?
I'm sorry, what I
Why did you
proposed?
propose the changes?
Well, the ones for probationary, for firefighter 1 and 2, we're experiencing one situation now where we're sending somebody to school and within days after they graduate, they're moving. I feel we should get something out of them, since we're paying for that. We're paying a total of $317 to send somebody to school. Now, 117 of that was picked up by a grant, countywide grant. So we're actually spending $200. And to me, if we're spending even, 200, 317, whatever it might be, I just feel we should get something out of the probationary firefighters that we're sending to school. I found out after I proposed this, and actually after we got it back from the attorney, that there are other fire departments who either have recently started doing this or who have been doing this for a while. And again, it's just to, they want something back for their investment, is what it is.
I think
Yeah, yep, hang
How are we
on,
gonna,
yeah, on that first part, on the
Yep.
first, yep.
how are you gonna collect it?
It's gonna be based on, well, for example, the situation we're in now, they would be invoiced it would be billed
How you gonna collect?
for that. And that's why I had it run through the attorneys, because they're probably gonna be involved or
We ain't
somewhere.
spending money to collect $200.
Then that's what's
We're not gonna
something we have to decide.
Money on legal
at the
fees
time.
at 140 or
No, I'm-
280 or whatever it is.
And we're not gonna take it to the
Collect.
collection agency. I guess to answer your
So-
question, if this happened right now, we would send them a letter requesting, the money back, and, maybe one more letter, which is pretty much the same thing we do for our cost recovery right now. We'll send somebody a letter requesting it, we'll send them a second letter, and then basically we drop it.
So you do the best you can without it costing more than you're out already.
I just wanted it to be run through the attorney, because, again, I wanna know if we can do it, and, you know, obviously, if it came to that, they'd have to defend it, so and I don't think it should ever come.
What do you mean run it through the attorney?
I asked the attorney to
Yeah.
review, what I proposed.
This, yeah.
Yes, that's what
You
he's
don't
talking
mean
about.
run it through the attorney when they don't pay.
Correct.
Does anybody else have questions on that paragraph?
No, I didn't realize how much it cost. I was thinking it was more than that. So you don't have to pay for books or anything, this is just the cost?
The
of the
book part was
class.
actually included in the one, in the additional, out of 317, it started out originally as $200. Now, we have new course managers this year, okay, for the firefighter 1 and 2 academy.
Mhm.
And they were short on their costs, their projections. By the time they were all done, it was gonna cost an additional $117. And fortunately, there was grant money left over in the county, training budget to pick that additional 117 up. So it's not costing us any more than we were given on day one,
Mhm.
okay?
Right now, but as long as.
Right now, but if there's no grant money, yes, it's gonna cost.
So if they stay for 6 months, then they only have to pay $100 back. So it's
Correct.
prorated depending on,
It's prorated,
Right.
correct.
okay.
Any questions on the second one, page 16-7 ABC?
Nope.
That one's pretty self-explanatory.
Yes, it is.
Okay. If there's no more questions for them, do I hear a motion to approve the SOG? I guess you listed it right as parts, page 15-2 and 16-7 ABC, SOG section that has been, well, reviewed by the attorney, but do I hear a motion to approve the SOG? Okay, I have a motion by Lyle, second by Don, all those in favor? Aye, any opposed? Thank you, Larry.
Did you want to say?
What second
That
part?
was a big one.
No, there isn't any.
I don't have anything else.
Okay.
I have,
That was the part that was also reviewed by the attorney.
you mean this general?
Yes.
Oh, I bet you we didn't review all that.
No, I
Did you
didn't
review
know
all
that.
the heavy part, the thick
That
part?
wasn't
What was on the
there.
letter, right.
Okay.
So we'd have to have, yep, so you're talking about the second part, we have it, we just didn't have a cover letter. Maybe we did. We did attach the EMS, no. Is that what that was? No, we didn't. We didn't review the, thank you. We'll have to review that, and if you can give me a cover letter that explains it, considering our next meeting is next month.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, accounts payable.
Okay, the general fund payments, $7,164. Fire equipment fund, $170,000, $170,767.19, and that included the new truck that was just purchased. Fire operating fund, $4,099.53. Street lighting fund, $175.87. Building inspection fund, $276.75, for a grand total of $182,453.34. And I move that we make that payment.
There's a motion, support?
I will support, except for it was 4,069, not 99.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, but the total did come to the amount you said, so I support that.
Okay, motion by Lyle, support by Debbie. Roll call, please.
Lyle?
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Melanie,
Aye.
Dick,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, the electronic fund transfer, $2,817.64. And I move that we pay that amount.
I second it.
We have a motion by Lyle, support by Debbie. Roll call, please.
Lyle,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Dick.
Yep.
Melanie.
Aye. Motion carried.
The last payment that goes out is the net payroll payment, $12,131.20. And I move that we pay that.
Second it.
A motion by Lyle, support by Debbie. Roll call, please.
Lyle,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Melanie,
Aye.
Don,
Yes.
Dick.
Motion carried. Any board member comments before we go to? No board member comments? Okay, before we go to public comments, Mr. Mahoney's here, which is our county representative. Is there any update you would like to give to the board?
Nothing at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Public comment. Lyle, Larry?
Okay, Larry Ritchie, Fire Chief, North Township Fire Department. I'd like to recognize one of our probationary firefighters who's here tonight. He has completed his testing in firefighter 1 and 2 and has passed both areas. That will be official next week at his graduation ceremony that the firefighter 1 and 2 academy has, and that's Mike McFarland.
Thank you.
This picture was in the paper too. I found it. Did they show it to you?
Now he's gonna pay your by one. Michelle?
Michelle Bridges, Lieutenant Blue Lake Fire Department. We were surprised by our chief retiring so early, kind of caught us off guard. We want to show him our appreciation and respect for all the years that he has served the fire service. We will be putting together plans for an open house May 31st, open to the public from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. here at the fire station. So, further details to follow as we put it together, so.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Look, whichever, you both raise your hand at the same time.
I just wanted to say, apparently I owe you guys an apology because you didn't understand what I talked about last month. You said that I talked about the budget. If I'd been talking about the budget, I might have mentioned something about how I have proof that we had the line item for the cemetery, for the gasoline. I have proof of it from back to 2006, it's just last year. I also think that the fact that you didn't do the workshop did the current clerk a disservice. Because it's a learning process all the way around, and he's never done it, he should have done it. What I was talking about was, I was talking about Bob Dykema. And the great things that he had done, and the lack of support he has gotten from the board. There's only one person on this board that has ever shown up to help him. If you did some calls, you would find out that what he has done in the last 12 years, what it has cost this township in the last 12 years, any cemeteries of these sizes couldn't touch that for a one-year budget. And I also, if I've been talking about the proposed budget, I might have also mentioned how you said you couldn't afford to pay him, and yet across the board, everybody got from a 2 to a 25% yearly raise. So that is what I'm trying to say, is we've got to give Bob more credit. He has cleanup coming up. I would encourage you to go there and find out exactly what it is he does for free, and how hard it is for him to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Gail Donald, Blue Lake Township tax-paying resident. Several years ago, my husband, Bob Dorbush, made a Maltese cross plaque for the fire department. The firefighters' names were put on it, and it has disappeared from the fire station. I would request the board ask Fire Chief Larry Radke to get the memorial plaque back on the wall for the fire station for the upcoming, 150th
We'll say it,
anniversary.
that's easier.
Thank you. And I think the washer and dryer is a good idea for the fire department. My husband was on the fire department for many, many years. My father, my son, my brother, all of them were on fire departments. And keeping the equipment clean was a challenge. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Hearing no other public comment, meeting is adjourned at 7:39. You don't want? No, it was,